Are you ready to be great this week? I hope so. Welcome to Chasing Greatness, the podcast where we help you win at work, win at home, and ultimately win at life. And so today we're talking about winning at work, and I am fired up about this episode. This episode really came from one of our listeners who reached out and said, hey, can you talk to us about how to keep our lives organized at work? And so I don't know about you, but this can be a really big challenge. So we're gonna dive into that today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. If you've not subscribed, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button. Push this out to your friends. Help us continue to spread the word. We're growing the channel. It's been a lot of fun. We really are chasing greatness here together. There's greatness in each of you. There's greatness in you in your workplace. And today, that's what we're going to talk about. Now, I'm gonna focus specifically today on one area of digital clutter, I'll call it, and we're gonna talk about digital decluttering here, and that area is email. So this is gonna be our email episode. We've never talked about this. It's pretty interesting when you think about it. One of my team members pointed out to me. I've got some statistics here for you. It is incredible. I don't even need these statistics. They're fascinating. I'm going to share them with you, but I don't even need them because I was with a leader just yesterday. I was speaking at an event, and this guy that was helping me with something, I go up to him and he opens up his phone. We're sharing contact info, and he opens up his phone, and I notice he has several hundred unread emails. I'm like, oh my goodness, that would just be exhausting to look down at that little, what is the notification number there on your phone screen. And there's several hundred. I was with a guy a year or so ago, and I noticed he had over 4,000 unread emails. Like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. So here's what the statistics show. 2 out of every 3 people currently have unread emails in our inboxes. And I don't know how it's only 2 out of 3. I mean, to me, it seems like this is from Yahoo and a study that was done. Maybe people don't. I mean, maybe the third of the people don't get any emails, but I think for everybody who gets an email, it just feels like every 5 minutes there's another email in your inbox. I think I have 34 right now that aren't. I want to talk about my email here in a minute. I think I have 34 right now that are unread. It says the average, which makes me feel pretty good when I read this, the average person has 1,602 unread emails. Now, please tell me you don't have 1,600. I mean, like, why even have email if we have 1,600 unread emails? I know some of you are listening right now, and you're probably already going, okay, well, I do have several hundred. I mean, you have to, because how's this average what it is? It says an average employee processes 126 emails a day. And I don't know that I get 100 a day, but I'll probably get 40, 50 a day that just keep coming through. And I understand it's a challenge because if you take a week and unplug and you never look at it, man, how do you do that? I mean, that's you're probably listening, hoping I'll tell you how to do that. And I'll share some things I think will help in a minute. And then listen to this. Employees spend an average of 28% of their work week processing emails. That's almost 2.25 hours out of an 8-hour workday that you spend, or 582.4 hours, McKinsey says, a year. 24 days of your year is literally sitting in front of a screen, processing, deleting, responding to, writing emails. And so this is a very big ideal. Mailbird says in their study that 35% of all emails are left unread. So I guess the hard news with that is if I'm spending 24 days a year doing emails, then 8 of those days are irrelevant because a third of those aren't going to be read anyway. So this is out of control, y'all. This has gotten crazy when we look at it. Now, this came to light for me a few days ago in a little bit of a different kind of way. We switched over an email service with our team and some of the stuff we're doing. And that migration that happened, it showed all the emails that had been processed over the last few years. I'm not sure how many when the timetable started, but over the last few years, there was in this migration, it showed that I had 19,000 emails that we had processed. And I'm going, that is crazy when you think about it. Now, right now, I have 34 emails in my inbox that I didn't know what to do with when they came, and they haven't been responded to. It's not somebody that needs a response. It's like the email has just the unread email, because I can see what it's about or who it's from or what's going on. They didn't require a response, but that email inbox has become my default placeholder for those unread emails. And I'm just saying that's not good. I mean, it's like, it bothers me every time I look at it, and there's 34 that are unread. So how must I feel if I'm out there listening and I've got on average 1,600 unread email, or if I know every day when emails come through that a third of them aren't going to be responded to? What can we do? How can we handle this? And so I'm gonna make a case here for a digital declutter. And here's what I'm going to tell you. In the next 30 days, I literally want to have 0 emails in my inbox. I got a buddy who, for years, he's kept his inbox at 0. Like now, the goal is not to have 0 in your inbox. I mean, it is my goal, but the goal is not to keep it at 0 at all times. I think I've got to have a way to manage that. And so what would that be? Because I don't want to just be answering emails and looking at emails all day. Again, this is just one example here. You may have a home screen that's littered with folders and all kind of stuff. I just did a cleanup of my home screen a few days ago, and I've got everything down into 2 little folders that I keep everything in. But before that, I had a few screenshots, and I've got some PowerPoints and some things that they had gotten on my screen again. I had to clean that up. And so this is just constant bombardment of information that just keeps coming at us, and email is one of those places. So again, we're just picking email as our spot to focus on. But what would it look like for you to declutter your inbox? I mean, what would that look like? Now, I don't have an answer for how to do this. I've got some ideas. One of the things that you could potentially do is I know a couple of people that literally have just said, I'm deleting everything, I'm starting over. I don't know that that's a good thing, because I like to go back and be able to search if something has, that I'm looking for, a conversation I have with somebody, or in our case, a contract or an engagement or something we had. I mean, that's important to be able to go back and follow through on or not follow through, but to be able to go back and look at what was said and who said what, and occasionally. But that points me back to this idea of, you really don't want to be handling your stuff twice. So really, when it's done, I think delete is a really good feature on our email. Every inbox I've ever been in has the delete feature. And so when I'm done with that, I don't want to handle that twice. What happens with our clutter, our physical clutter? Let's shift over to that for a second. I don't want to get into that because it's a whole different subject, but there's some similarities here. Physical clutter is so bad when I end up touching it twice or 3 times or 4 times. I have the same papers, and I look at them, and I move. I had some papers yesterday. We had some company who came over last night. My wife said, "Can you move some stuff?" I had it stacked on a table. I was trying to go through it. I ended up moving it to my bedroom. Everybody leaves. I go back to my bedroom. I get it. I move it back out. I'm trying to deal with all that today after I'm filming for you first, or recording here. But I still got to deal with that. It's not going to go away. And I've already touched it 3 times. I've not even touched it, and I've touched it 3 times. So I think that happens with our email. We look at something, and then I'll get back to that later. We don't really have a way to process it or a plan to handle it or a folder system to put it in if you want to keep it. So I think delete is really good. Once you've done it and it's there, you don't need that to be able to go back to 5 years from now. So I think letting go would be huge. And I see people who have accumulated a lot of stuff physically. They've got a home full of stuff. We see there's shows about hoarders and pack rats and all this stuff. We have, if these statistics are true, we have a world full of digital pack rats right now. And I think we've got a decision to make here. We don't have to be this way. Who's making you save all your old emails from 5 years ago? Nobody. Or who's making you save all your emails from 6 weeks ago? Really nobody. Who is, and if they are, create a folder of just stuff I've processed that I don't want to deal with, or I might want to deal with, or you title it however you want to, and just drag it over into that folder and get your inbox. How cool would it be if you could look at your inbox and and there were we'll just say less than 30, because I'm over 30. So I want to make sure that I'm included in the group here. I think I'm doing okay with it. I'm trying to respond, but man, I don't want you out there feeling like I got 1,600. I don't know what to do with them. They're unread. A third of them I don't even get to look at. They're coming through. So it's huge. All right. Here's the second thing I want to talk to you about. It's when do you do your email? And I would say you need to choose. If you're going to be great, you're not going to let. How would I say this? You're not going to be great because you do email all day. You're not going to get to the end of your life and go, man, I'm so glad I was so great at email. It's honestly, email's important. It's a part of communication. And we talk about that all the time. Communication really is the oxygen of your organization. It's the oxygen of all your relationships in so many ways. But the truth is, most of my email that comes through is not really vital communication, I would say. Some of it is. I need to know how to process and know the difference in that. But how often do I respond? And I think if you can respond every day, that's good. But you don't have to respond every hour of every day or every 5 minutes. You're not probably employed to be answering emails all day. Now, some of you may be sitting there going, well, my boss expects me to respond. I get that. And you're going to have to figure out how to do that without responding to your Zappos ad or am I going to delete that or not? Or I might want to look at those shoes tonight, or am I pick your spot there. I think if we're not careful, we get into this rhythm of just looking all day long, and every time a notification comes, it beeps. We look at that. Do we process that? Do we delete that? No, I'll look at that later. And then the next thing you know, you just got a pile of stuff at the end of the day. And then at the end of the day, you really don't want to deal with it. And you get till tomorrow and you get 50 of those a day. And that's several hundred a week that you're dealing with every week. And so I would recommend that you pick a time every day and say, I'm not going to spend 2.5 hours on email, but what if you could just say, I'm going to spend 30 minutes on email? And if you want to really do this in an aggressive way, you might even divide that 30 minutes up into 2 15-minute segments. One, maybe I'll say before lunch, not first thing in the morning, because I don't know that you need to be doing email first thing in the morning. Maybe you do. You get to choose when you do it. But for me, we teach this in our course, 21 Days to Your Best Year Ever. We say one of the best things that we can do if we're going to be great is win the first hour of the day. And I don't know anybody who's winning the first hour of the day because they're processing email for the first hour of the day. So I'm not saying you don't need to check. Did my boss say something overnight? Did my team leader say something overnight? You do whatever you need to there. But what if you said 10:30 in the morning, I'm going to take 15 minutes? Or what if you said the 15 minutes before I go to lunch, I'm going to process everything from the morning. And now I'm spreading the rest of it to the afternoon. I got a few in the afternoon I need to deal with. And then when you go home, I would recommend that you go home and you be home. You don't go home and answer more email. And I'm telling you, there have been times in my life where I've had all these emails, I've had all these, things that coming through, communication. You get courtesy copied on everything. You can ask people to be taken off of that list. And I know this might ruffle some feathers, but how cool would it be if you created a culture where email was not really worshiped? And, communication is important. Communication is prioritized, but honestly, we don't need to communicate everything to everybody. And so, I'm kind of on the warpath here against email. I know it's going to take some heavy lifting for me to keep my inbox back down to zero, but I'm just going to tell you, and at times in the past, I've done that. Actually, when I have done that, it feels so good to know that you're not cluttered digitally. And again, this just happens over and over with the amount of information we have. And we're going to talk about noise on our Win It Life this week. We're going to take a different little kind of look on that because we need some quiet in our life, and I think that'll be helpful to you as well. But how are you doing with email? I just challenge you, don't spend your whole day doing email. I don't know that that's going to help you create the legacy that really you want to create. We talked about legacy on Friday last week. So I think email is just such a challenging thing. I'm seeing people everywhere. They got all these thousands of unread messages, hundreds of them anyway. And you don't want to carry the weight of that around with you. I'll hold in my hand here, if you're watching on YouTube, I'll hold in my hand here this little stack of books that I have. I've been doing some book reviews, and I have these 3 books in my hand. And honestly, they're not very heavy. They weigh probably, I don't know, combined maybe a couple pounds. And I could carry them all day. I really could. I could walk around the house with them. I could hold them in my hands all day. I could carry them if I drive somewhere. I could hold them in one hand, drive with the other. I could literally go through them a whole day holding these. They're not that heavy. I mean, they're a couple pounds. The question is, why would I want to? Why would I want to carry with me the burden of these 3 books? They're great books. They're useful. They're full of great stuff. Listen to the reviews if you haven't. You'll enjoy those. But the truth is, many of us are carrying around with us the emotional weight of all these emails and details and this constant notification that's coming all the time. I mean, it really is constant. It just keeps bombarding us, and we never seem to get ahead. You're going to have to you need a plan. You're going to have to do something different if you want to have a different result when it comes to your technology clutter. That's what I'm thinking about these days. I'm trying to make progress here. I challenge you to as well, because again, we're chasing greatness here on the channel. We're trying to be at our very best, because we know when we are, we actually positioned to help other people be great, and no one ever became great by living in an email all day. So I don't know. I mean, it may be hard to hear. It's hard for me to hear. I'm sitting there going, what am I doing? This is crazy. You don't have to. I hope you've got a hold of your email and your email doesn't have a hold of you. It really is possible to live a digital decluttered life. I'm convinced. And if you will, I think you'll win at work. So everybody's got something different we need to do with this. I hope you'll share it with somebody. Maybe you need to share it with the people on your team or your boss and say, hey, we're gonna try to take a different step here toward some digital declutter. What would happen if you had some boundaries, or like, we're gonna respond to each other at these times every day and not all day? I think help is out there, or hope is out there, I guess I would say, but only if we take some steps. Hope won't do it. I mean, I hope my inbox is empty when I wake up in the morning. That's terrible. That's going to be full. You know that. So you got to have a way to process all that. All right. Love you guys. Let's keep winning at work this week. And I think email, it's like, it's not gonna control us. We're gonna control it. I'm convinced. Let's take a step. A month from now, I'm gonna get all those 34 out of my inbox. It won't even take me a month to do that. I should be able to do that in a couple of days. And I'm committed to having a clean inbox. I don't want my kids to have to come back someday and go, oh, my dad was a pack rat when it came to his. They won't even look at it. But I guess that's better than my garage. I guess I probably need to go work in my garage as well and get some of that stuff out. But email, we're gonna win. We're gonna do this. All right. See you guys Wednesday.